I support Palestine and the Gazan people for a very simple reason. It's the right thing to do. They want what I have, and that's freedom.
These Palestinians, you hear that they're horrible terrorists and they're going to kill you. The only way they were going to kill me is by feeding me too much or giving me too much love.
Heavily guarded stuff from Palestinians.
Some people just want to be free. This is what happens.
To shoot me in the leg if they didn't run. They all ran to protect me, not themselves. Do you like the
As I was leaving, I got barred, supposedly for life, but I'm going to try and go back again next year.
Yeah, I've read so much about it. I cannot understand.
Walking around, I knew that I had to use my white privilege. I had to use it because if they had done half as much, they would have been killed.
Israel is a colonialist, racist, apartheid state that is breaking Palestine up too much. Free Palestine and free Gaza.
And you know what you're... You know this?
So I'm in Hebron in another street. This gentleman here is just trying to go back to his shops, being held up by soldiers, which I think happens a lot.
Another one that I had was that while I was over there, a girl was killed, hit and run. A settler killed her on purpose and drove off. She was 5 years old. I went to visit the family, and when I got to the family, the soldiers knew I was coming, and they started harassing me at the front and threatening me. But then when we finally got to spend time with the family, to see these kids that were broken, not having time to grieve because there's soldiers standing at the front of their house, ready to continue dehumanizing them. So they do not get a chance to grieve. And the Palestinians, they're told that it's their fault that they're dying because they're terrorists or they're criminals. Those moments, I'm getting goosebumps, will never ever leave me.
Let me ask something. I'm over here for respecting this family because you had someone die. Yeah. Then why the hell are you standing in front of me, armed like this, in front of their family after they've just lost somebody? I call it harassment. Any other country in the world, you couldn't do this. Don't push me.
I asked from you to delete the
And I
picture.
said no. I said no. I said I didn't take a picture. This is harassment again. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Are they armed? Are they armed? Do they carry guns? Do these people carry guns?
I don't know.
Do they? Have you ever seen one?
No.
They have guns? You have guns? You can kill someone from how far? Leave us alone.
Still went to normal media and they were always saying, you know, the way their rhetoric, the way they speak is the Palestinians are terrorists. If a Palestinian is killed, it's only because they're a terrorist. If an Israeli is killed, it's a loving father, loving daughter, son, mother. And so I started just digging around a little bit and things started to really stick out that it just wasn't right. One of them was actually trying to hide his face with his gun because I was filming. And I think, you know, whether he was embarrassed or he wasn't, he was never expected to have a white guy that wasn't intimidated and in fact was going to push right back on them. And so they didn't know what to do. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want an international incident.
I'm in Hebron and I've just been told about a wall. So this gate locks about 40 Palestinian families in and it actually locks at certain times where they can't come out. There's actually a bus stop. I can take it. The Palestinians can't take it. It's complete racism. What do you think of the racism here? What do you think about the Palestinians not being able to walk here?
So much about it. I cannot understand how they can justify what they're doing. This is total brutality.
I went back to Sheikh Jarrah to visit him at a different time. and all the roads were closed. So no Palestinians were allowed in or out, even though it's predominantly Palestinian. And this is when all the settlers started to come over me. A lot of them were young kids doing it. And then I said, look, what do you think of the Arabs? And they said, Arabs, they're terrorists, they're dirty animals. They called me a terror supporter. A dozen jeeps, bulldozers came in. They bulldozed the house. There were schoolgirls in their school uniforms standing watching this. Settlers watching. Nothing anybody can do. The police everywhere demolishing these homes. This family, they don't have anywhere to go, but no one cares about that. And that was one of the most horrific things that I had seen, because I have daughters. I mean, I remember speaking to some of the young kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? And, one particular one said, I want to be a doctor. I said, fantastic, good for you. He said, I'm not going to bother, because where would I get a job? That's what occupation does, and that's what they're doing on purpose. They don't want to give them a hope. And that, again, made me sad.
What do you do every day?
We drove up there. There were soldiers in front of the play equipment, and they've held their guns straight up. About 15 Palestinians behind me wouldn't move. All the Palestinians ran. And I only found out later on they ran because the soldiers said that they were going to shoot me in the leg unless they left. This was my first experience, and there's a short video out there somewhere where they were holding their M16s up right towards my head.
They want what I have, and that's freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom to be able to leave Gaza, freedom for people like myself to come in and see them. They have people dying on a daily basis because they don't have medical support. Israel can pick them off via sniper, via Apache helicopters, by bombs, and the world sits by idly and does nothing. The people of Palestine do not want our charity. They want to live. They want their children to be able to live in freedom. They want their children to be able to grow up without having their mothers and fathers killed.